I hadn't thought about her in years. Not consciously, at least. But some memories don't disappear, they just go quiet, they wait. I was standing in line at a bookstore cafe after work when I heard someone say my name, not loudly. Carefully, like they weren't sure they had the right person. I turned around and saw her. Older, softer around the edges, but unmistakable, my fourth-grade teacher. She stared at me for a second, eyes searching my face, then smiled sadly. "I knew it was you," she said. "I'd recognize those eyes anywhere." I didn't know what to say. I smiled back out of politeness, the way adults do when they run into people from the past. I assumed she'd say something generic, ask what I was doing now, tell me she'd retired. Instead, she took a breath and said, "Can I sit with you for a moment?" Something in her voice made me nod. We sat at a small table by the window. She wrapped her hands around her coffee like she needed grounding. "I've wanted to apologize to you for a long time," she said. The word hit harder than I expected. Apologize. She continued before I could react. "You probably don't remember everything, most kids don't, but I do." I remembered being called out for daydreaming, for asking too many questions, for reading ahead instead of following along. I remembered her sighs when I raised my hand. The notes sent home saying I was distracted, unfocused, difficult. I remembered learning, very early, how to be quiet. She looked at me, eyes wet now. "I didn't know how to handle kids like you back then. Curious, sensitive, always thinking sideways. I thought shutting you down would help you fit in." I swallowed. "It didn't," she said softly. "It did the opposite." She told me she'd gone back to school years later, learned about learning differences, about how some kids don't need less space, they need more. She said my name had stayed with her because I was the one who stopped raising my hand completely halfway through the year. "I watched you disappear," she said, "and I let it happen." I didn't realize I was crying until she reached across the table and gently touched my hand. "I'm so sorry," she said. "You didn't deserve that." I laughed quietly, wiping my face. "I thought I was just bad at school." She shook her head immediately. "You weren't bad, you were bright." I was wrong. We sat there in silence for a moment, the kind that doesn't rush you. Before she left, she said, "If it helps at all, I try to do better now. I tell my students about you, not by name. But I tell them about the kids teachers don't always understand right away." When she stood to go, she smiled again. "I'm glad you didn't disappear." After she left, I stayed there for a long time. Because something I didn't know I'd been carrying finally felt lighter. That apology didn't change my childhood, but it changed how I saw myself in it, and somehow that mattered.